what's another $150 for an Xbox? It's becoming a broken record, I get that, and for the most part, it can be kind of annoying to hear the same thing over and over again, but this is, in my lifetime at least, quite unprecedented when it comes to just the constant barrage of price increases that is coming to anything and everything nowadays. And there are two big factors when it comes to why things are the way they are in 2026. Most notably, when it comes to the technological space that we talk about here, obviously the economics of the world, and of course, artificial intelligence. Everyone's favorite thing. But every single day, it just seems like we're getting some new notice from a company that this is increasing, that's increasing. And it's just everything is continuously going up in price. But if you happen to have been an earlier adopter of some of these things, you might have been fine actually, and which is unusual, especially in the video game landscape, because at this point in time during consoles' lifespans, usually you would see price decreases. So for instance, if this is normal times, the PS5 would probably cost $400 instead of $650 or whatever it is nowadays. It just would, it's insane what we're going through currently. And it's not just a Sony thing, it's not just a Nintendo thing or a Microsoft thing or even PCs only, it's everybody. All the console and PC manufacturers, they've increased their prices, or they will be increasing their prices in the future. Some for the first time and some for the second, third, or fourth time. And as of now, I say that now, here, the end of June of 2026, PlayStation is not increasing their prices again. But I think, especially with Microsoft doing it here shortly, and with Nintendo getting theirs in the fall, that it's risky. But I think it's possible Sony does it before Christmas. And if they're going to do it before Christmas, they probably want to do it not too long after Nintendo does it. And if you take the PS5 Pro, or excuse me, we're getting a little ahead of ourselves. If you take the digital PlayStation 5 right now, that costs $600. But if you do want the disc drive with the PS5, it is an extra $50. And if you want to get the PS5 Pro, that's going to cost you $900, which when that price increase was announced, it's crazy how quick those sold out on like GameStop shelves. Hell, I was even looking at PlayStation 5s when the Pro, when they announced that price increase, just to say, well, if I'm going to get it, now would be the time. But at that point, I was just too late for it. But $900, I'm not even close to interested, especially with, it's just, I don't think I have the TV to really justify the PlayStation 5, and especially not now. But when it comes to all these, it was between about $150 to $200 increase over the launch prices from 6 years ago. And Sony, of course, as noted, is not alone in that, as Microsoft has not only done it once, but as we talked about in a YouTube short a couple days ago, they are going to be doing it again. And they're going to see the Series S, which was $300 at launch and is now currently $400. That's going up to $500 starting in August. And that's a $200 increase, which is over 50% of an increase from its launch price. And that is for the underpowered model of the Xbox Series. If you remember, the Series S is actually, it's not equivalent to the Series X. And you have all these developers having to essentially make concessions for their games when they put them on the Series S, or they have to make separate versions of the game. That being said, the Series X, the one that people will usually go towards because it's got more memory and it's also got the disk drive in there, of course, as noted, more powerful. That is something that was $500 at launch, currently $650, and with the price increase starting in August will now be $800. $800 for the Xbox Series X, which by all accounts is essentially the base version of the Xbox. And I know we just talked about the Series S, but if you want the current gen and you want to play current gen at its normal specs, Series X is your base. And these price increases and the memory shortages have caused them to discontinue the 2 terabyte edition coming when August gets here. And yes, there's going to be shortages, but I also think Xbox is not interested in putting a $1,000 console out there yet. They may want to wait for Project Helix to do that, and they may just like sit back on this. Like, I don't see a reason to go next gen yet. We're looking at consoles, I think, that are plateaued, I think, when it comes to where we are when it comes to developing games and making them look more realistic or play better, things of that nature, especially when everything is just unattainable when it comes to the like chips and storage and RAM and all sorts of other things that we don't talk about. It's just, I don't think there's really a necessity for next gen yet. So whatever Project Helix ends up being, but the 25th anniversary Series X, which has not had its price announced yet, I'm not saying it's going to be $1,000, but I do think it's going to be at least $900. It shouldn't, because all it is just a case swap. That's all it is, and different buttons, colored buttons even. So there's really nothing different. That I don't know if it's 2 terabyte or not. I don't think it is, but it's a special edition, so they're probably going to charge more. But anyway, of course, we also have Nintendo. The original Switch, at this point, whether the price increases, I don't think anyone's really going to care, because it's last gen. We're on the Switch 2 now. People are looking for Switch 2 games. But we saw the Switch have a delayed launch or pre-order period, at least here, because of, at that time, tariffs were all the rage of a petulant man-child. So Nintendo was well aware of the situation, and they were kind of seeing what the market was going to do at that time, before they announced the price here in America. And it launched at $450, but they noted that, well, we're probably gonna have to increase this at some point, and that point is coming up soon. Beginning of September, it's gonna go from $450 to $500, which will be the most expensive Nintendo console, I think, ever. Hopefully that remains to be the only Nintendo console sitting at $500, just because Nintendo's always been underpowered usually when it comes to their devices. So to see them go even more than that would be, they really need to do something crazy, which I don't think that's not really their niche, so I don't know why they would. But anyway, when all these consoles released, they were all relatively normal prices, and when the PS5 launched, as we noted, was $500, and that wasn't even like an unusual cost. Like the PS4, and I know for sure the PS3 was stupid expensive when it came out. Of course, Blu-ray technology was new at the time too, and PS3 was one of the easiest and most all-encompassing ways to have a Blu-ray player and be able to play games on it. And that I think that launched at more than $500. If I remember, it was $600 when it came out. So PlayStation has kind of kept up pretty well when it came to launch prices of their consoles. And if you account for inflation, the PS3 is definitely way more than what the PS5 cost at launch. But I don't even think it's a point of catching up. It's just that these hardware manufacturers usually would subsidize the cost of these consoles because they're going to be selling new software and accessories. So they're able to take a little bit of a loss on every console because they're going to make up for it elsewhere, and they want people in their ecosystem. But going back to the PS5 launch itself, if you pick up the consoles at launch, you're probably fine. Unfortunately, for those that are interested in those at the time, COVID was also very prevalent in our time. So market conditions for you personally may have said, I can't really afford a new video game console, so I'm not going to spend the money on it. And then you also may have been thinking, well, the PlayStation 4 plays just fine. There's nothing really new coming out with PS5. Why would I waste my time and money on it? I'm fine with what I got. And if you kept that attitude for this entire time, up to 2026, which at this point, I think you probably would have upgraded if you were interested in it. And I can't see a whole lot of people looking for a new console in 2026 anyway, because at this point, from everything that's happened up to this point, but also because it's been quite a while since these consoles have been out. So I think if you were interested in getting a PlayStation 5 or a Series X, you probably would have done so already. The Switch 2 is obviously the the exception here because it's new, just came out this year. And it's not just these console manufacturers, it's also like PC manufacturers, people that make handheld emulators and PC handhelds. And let's start with the retro emulator market, because that's kind of the new hotness right now. That's what we were talking about the other day with the new Retroid Pocket Nova, which I'm pretty excited for. Retroid, AYN, these are Chinese devices that typically have cheaper manufacturing involved, just because we know, usually the cheaper stuff comes from China, and that's kind of how the market works. But even they are finding themselves constantly riddled with having to bring in price increases. AYN just announced this morning, a few hours before we're making this video, that they're increasing the Thor prices again at the end of this week. It's going to go up at least like $10, I think, on every model except for the Max model, which I think is going up $30. This is not even the first increase, as noted, for the Thor. So these are getting pretty expensive. It's 2 screens. It's essentially an emulator that emulates a 3DS, and it's pretty cool being able to like play a game on the top screen and like have like a Netflix show on the bottom screen. It's great for multitasking in that way. But the increases, man, it just continues to add on. It's just, here's another one, here's another one, here's another one. And of course, PC parts just continue to go up. And talk about the Steam Machine, which we did last week. That price is just ludicrous. I can't believe people are considering buying that at the price. The Steam Deck saw huge price increases. Before that increased, I don't even know if I'd have recommended it anyway, just because if you're wanting to play new AAA titles on it, it's becoming harder and harder, just because games are becoming more intricate and are requiring more power behind them. I don't think any game related thing is $1,000 great unless it's like a full-blown PC, and this was like 2 years ago. $1,000 PC now, with what you can do with that money, I don't know what you're going to get out of it. It's probably not going to be great. But for things like Steam Decks, Legion Go's, other handheld PCs, your ROG Lis, you'll want to go to eBay, Facebook Marketplace for these kinds of things, because it's just becoming too expensive to buy it through the retailers or through the manufacturers. And it's not just the consoles going up, it's also the cost of games going up too. And granted, 70 has been kind of the norm for a while at this point. I think Tears of the Kingdom is the one that popularized bringing up the $70 price point. It's kind of crazy because I'm honestly surprised it took that long to get to this point. Just because I think just general corporate greed usually takes over. And the market just kind of stayed at 60 for like 10 years or so, probably longer actually. With Grand Theft Auto coming out, you have the standard edition being $80, and then the Ultimate Edition being $100, and people saying most of the... I wouldn't say most of the game. I think it's being overblown a little bit, but at the same time, I still don't agree with the cost associated with unlocking everything in the base game itself. If it was providing extra like story content, things of that nature, I'm okay with it in that way. But if you're locking, like, say, like, a way to change your character's hairstyle or to buy clothes in the game, like, that's ridiculous. And funny enough, GTA isn't even the most expensive game you can buy out there. It's not even the most expensive game in their company. Take-Two's got $150 versions of the 2K series, whether it's NBA or WWE, and that is insane when you're just getting essentially virtual currency for that extra cost. In some cases, you are getting like downloadable characters with the WWE games, but NBA games, it's all just microtransaction, online only based things you're getting. So VC, my team stuff, cards for my team. Maybe you're getting an extra pair of shoes for your my player. Like, it's all online stuff only. And at least when it comes to some other DLCs, you're getting story out of it. You're getting something for your single player experience. You're getting something for your character that you don't have to play online for. Like, anything that's charging an exorbitant amount of money and locking it behind online when you're paying for monthly membership fees for Xbox Live or PlayStation Plus, it just becomes too much. And I think GTA will earn the price point just because it's considered one of the biggest games that people are looking forward to. And unfortunately, I think corporate greed is going to take over for a lot of other companies, and they're going to be like, yeah, GTA did it. We can charge $80 for our game. And I hope the market responds to games that don't deserve it. It sucks that GTA 5 is going to cost this much. I do think it's going to earn it. It's been one of the most anticipated games that I can think of in a long time. And I'm just curious on how the rest of the market's going to take this $80 price point of video games going forward. Just because it's like, we need a damn break here. if you don't have a console, if for some reason, maybe you're turning 18, you just got your first job, and you're like, I'm going to buy my first PlayStation. And you find out you're gonna have to spend a month's worth of paychecks just to get it. When I got my first job, I got my first paycheck, and that's when I got my PlayStation 2. That was nice. That didn't cost me a lot. Granted, like I said, how consoles decrease in price over its lifetime, the PS2 was decreasing in its price at that point. But Xbox, not so much. PlayStation 5, not so much. But for me personally, I'm going back to playing things in my backlog or replaying games that I really enjoy. Like right now, I'm going through the Arkham series on my Legion Go, and that's been great to re-experience in that game. And I'm curious what you're doing. Are you revisiting stuff? Are you saying, screw this, I'm gonna keep buying new games, new consoles, man? It's just the market. I don't care about it. It's fine. I'm fine. Are you doing that? Are you going back to your backlog? Are you getting into a different hobby? What are you doing? What are you going to be doing? Because console prices just continue to go up. It's becoming way too cost prohibitive. Games are following suit. We live in uncertain times, especially in this hobby. A hobby that was very easy to get into. And in the future, we're going to talk about ways to navigate these treacherous waters of expensive video game consoles and video games, and what you can do to still enjoy gaming in 2026 and not spend an arm and a leg, because I think that's going to be a very hot topic for quite a while. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you've watched this long, thank you for your support. Like this video so more people can get it sent to them through their algorithm. And of course, if you really enjoyed it, hit the subscribe button, because that's the easiest way to get up-to-date notifications when we launch a brand new video, and it's free and easy to do, and I appreciate the support. So again, thanks for your time, and we'll catch you down the road.